times. And if you see the top row, it's basically all the burger boys. In 2006, we set up a joint venture company with a company from Australia called Com Group Supplies. And if you notice the first slide, the pictures that I had of our products, we didn't do any beef patties or burgers. So in 2006, we were approached by the Australian company because they had a halal plant. They had a plant in Australia that did alternate halal days. And they were realizing that for them to penetrate to the Middle East, it was difficult because there was a whole question mark about how halal was their products. So they decided to bring over the halal manufacturing plant and do a joint venture with us. And from there, we are now supplying out of Kuala Lumpur to Singapore, to Kuwait, to Bahrain, and to some other Middle Eastern countries. The main point here is I think that if any SME has this opportunity to have a strategic alliance with other foreign companies, they might be your competitor, but if they can offer you market access, which, as most of us know, it's easy to produce a product, it's hard to find a market for it, to get into that market. I think these are where alliances can really help both parties. So we've been, again, very fortunate, with that. And either through Com Group, the joint venture, or with our own efforts, we are now represented in quite a few countries overseas. Europe, we also use the Netherlands as a gateway to Europe. And you can see that most of our agents are in Southeast Asia, but there's nothing in the Philippines. So if it is the one thing I need to plug today during my speech, is I am looking for an agent or a distributor. And then our future plans. Brunei's been talking about a halal food park. Malaysia's talking about it. I think Philippines, Thailand, we're all talking about a halal food park, and we are also going into that. The only difference is for us is because we're the manufacturers. So we plan to open this food park. Prima will stop doing manufacturing. We will outsource all of our products to 68 SMEs, and we will guide them under an umbrella program. And we will focus on central services and also getting the products into the international market. So we will actually we will have 68 contract manufacturers who will do the products for us. And we will rebrand it into our own brand or another brand, and we will export it. So that's the difference between our halal food park and a lot of the other halal food parks that you'll hear about. It's basically an extension of our current manufacturing operations. It's not a brand new startup where you have A company and B company next to each other under one roof. It's really us dictating what products the manufacturers make, and then we finding the market for it. And our central services will also include halal certification, ISO auditing. We don't certify, but we make sure that all the 68 units meet the requirements so that the whole plant is certified ISO or EU approved, HACCP, halal. So it's a one-stop center in that sense. So this is basically a wrap-up of what I said just now. And finally, if I may be bold enough to share with you, I think a business, no matter whether you're doing halal or not halal, a good business is a good business. And, over 18 years with the company, we've done a lot of things which were good, and we've done a lot of things which cost a lot of money and didn't get us anywhere. But at the end of the day, I think it's the 5 elements. You have your product right at the middle. If your operations is running smoothly and you've got that whole traceability thing, then you're on the right track. Your brand management, if the product does what it says it's going to do, you're on the right track. Again, quality and standards, you can't run from that. The financial capabilities basically is also not just talking about your P&L and bottom line, it's also about grants and incentives that the government gives to SMEs. And there are a lot of those. Even the lady before me who was talking about the R&D development for SMEs, tap into that. Try and get as much out of that as possible because they really are there to help us. It's just a matter of maybe, filling in the right forms and knowing what they want. And then if you have a management team who can coordinate those other four sectors, this is really the backbone of a good business. And surrounding that, of course, is we need the assistance from the government, from all the relevant authorities and divisions to make sure that there's communication and coordination amongst all the departments, because especially when we're targeting the overseas sales, it's not just us alone, it's the government is involved, it's G to G, it's this department being audited by another foreign country. So with all of this, I really don't see why all of us, regardless of whether we're a Muslim country or you're not a Muslim country, why we can't all strive to be halal champions. And that's it.